listening to the
Hey, MFM. See you on the lift.
Back attack, dude.
Bon voyage!
Get that damn car off of the hill.
Slide down them big hills. You know what I mean? On the big, nice burgundy snowboard.
All right, folks, welcome to the Bomb Hole. Today, we got a great show for you today. We got Seth, a.k.a. the General, co-hosting. We got Silk D on production. And we got Chris Coulter in studio. What's happening, Chris?
I'm much hyped to be here. Can't believe I just heard that intro, and then you're saying I'm here.
It's incredible that you're here. We're happy that you're here. And I want to start with a iconic time in snowboarding. And this is filming for Represent. I was rewatching this video yesterday. And some of the clips, you guys have imported snow in the middle of summer. And there's literally no snow anywhere. Like, I don't even know if there's any on the run-in, but you're landing on concrete. There's not, you can't even see snow. Take us back to that time of the old import era.
Well, when it's probably May or, I don't know,
June.
if it was June, yeah, and you're super hungry and you import some snow and it's probably 80 or 90 degrees out, by the time you get your trick, there may not be any more snow. But it's still wet.
Dude, you had some crazy bails. The intro to your Represent part, you hit the ground hard.
Yeah, hungry to get it. And yeah, some of those crashes probably might have affected my memory a little bit.
KO on the second one. It seemed
Yeah.
like you're like, what, why am I bleeding?
Yeah.
What's happening?
Yeah, I thought the water was like blood or something, and Seth's like, just chill out, man, lay down. I'm like, fight or flight instinct. I'm trying to get up. Like, what happened? Did I just get beat up or what?
Seth, what was that like from your perspective?
Well, I mean, there's the sickest part is you got the photo, right? Not a fleck of snow in the photo. Somebody's on a kink rail in a snowboard gear. You got Cole Taylor filming fisheye in shorts and like a Tech 9, like a Tech 9 headband and some wristbands. It's just hot as can be. Yeah, and of course, like, I'm not getting my tricks quick, so there's no snow at that point.
Now, would you go up to the mountains or the hockey rink?
I think we got it from the mountains, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd load up trucks, bring it down. We'd have the spot kind of sort of picked out, maybe. We'd be like, can we do this? Can we get away with this? Let's just do it.
Yeah, not many people on the campus probably there at the U in the summertime.
Yeah, it was pretty dead, right?
Just driving around with a truck bed full of snow in June. Like, all right, time. We got a limited amount of time till the snow melts.
I mean, I think that season we shot, you were shooting with the Brainstorm guys too, right?
Yeah,
or
Kingpin.
the Kingpin crew. So I think we were just trying to actually pull off another video part, right? So
Yeah.
extending the season there a little bit.
Little bit of a late start, maybe. And then Cole was just hungry, right? He was like, that was his first video he's making. And it's like June and people needed clips. He's like, I don't care. He just kind of would frame it up to where you just couldn't say no.
Yeah,
He's
right.
just like, I'll go get the snow. I got the spot. And you're just like, I'm at the pool? Like,
Probably calling me like, Seth's down to go hit this rail. You coming?
exactly.
So legendary. I'd like to see it come back.
Well, you guys did some of that, right? You guys were
Oh, yeah.
importing snow.
We saw you guys doing it, and then we did the same shit.
That's how you do it.
Yeah. It was just part of the deal back then. You're just hungry as hell to get clips. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Nothing a season's going to stop you. Summer ain't going to stop you. Let's go get some clips.
Just remember, like, being so just soaking wet because you're like sweating and you're landing in a puddle basically because it's not snow.
Just hoping your base will slide enough on the wet concrete to like get the end of the clip to cut it.
Dude, people talk about riding powder being like snowboarding in its purest form. That it's like snowboarding in its most impure form.
Yeah, absolutely. The most fake thing you can do.
I mean, the rails for me on a snowboard were always so fun because I was really into skateboarding, but I mean, skateboarding's super hard. Kind of fulfilling some of those dreams, getting to do some rails on the snowboard, that
Yeah.
little too intense on a skateboard.
Oh God, yeah, you die.
Yeah.
But you can go down there with just decent amount of skill set. You can slide down a rail on a snowboard, strapped into the thing.
Yeah, and that clip I think you referenced when he got KO'd, that's up at the U, and it's a drop-off rail, and they had these little, like the rail was like this, and then there was little side knobs. What are those called? I don't know, but
Yeah, it's like holding the rail like at an angle there off the edge.
and if your board is directly flat and square, you're not clipping them, but if it's just slightly tilted in, you're gonna hook up. And that's what happened. And it was just like, there's no snow down there. Nothing. It's just straight, like drop off to cement.
And I think there was like a little trash can or something that was there too that like I clipped and I start to fall off and then some trash can hit the tip of my board. Would have been the tail because I think that was a switch.
Switchboard, yeah.
And it just flipped me. But yeah, that was
crazy.
so good. I had the general there looking after me.
You're in good hands. All right, Coulter, I want to go back to the beginning. I want to hear about your Arizona roots and how you found snowboarding.
Oh, New Mexico.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're right. I don't know. Yeah, I knew that.
But
my brain is, again,
yeah.
I've hit my head
Southwest,
quite a few times,
you know.
so.
It's funny, actually. That's not that uncommon for people just to think Southwest, Arizona. It's not the first time.
You guys had a bit of a migration back in the day.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. Like the crew that I grew up riding with in New Mexico, we moved up here together. First, one of our local reps, Jason Bowes, moved up here. And so when we were still in high school, we came up to visit him, and we were blown away with the mountains. And so while we were still in high school, we already knew that we needed to be here. And back then, too, you know, you'd flip through the mag, and it was tons of Utah coverage. And then seeing it in person, it was like, yeah, that's the next step, you know? So, yeah, we had a good crew moving up here, and we really tried to make some noise when we moved here. You know, we were throwing like keg parties and people are like, how'd you get the keg? And it's like, oh, you just cross the state line, get the keg filled and come on back, you know? So yeah, we were really trying to stir up the scene, and it was cool getting to meet like Seth and his crew and Winkler, and, you know, I would say the snowboard community was quite welcoming, and we felt like we meshed well. And, you know, moving here too was a big insight for me on that. I had a lot to learn about style. Just landing your tricks wasn't enough here. You needed to have some style with it. So that was a big part of getting involved in the community here. There was a lot of really good riders, and us New Mexicans needed to work on our style a little bit.
So going back to New Mexico, what did it look like, you know, snowboarding? What mountains? What was the scene like?
Yeah, there's actually pretty good riding down there. Quite a few mountains. We had a local contest scene. Had some pretty decent parks, no half pipes or anything, but with the lack of snow, there was a lot of gap jumps and weird kind of junkyard jib features and things like that. So pretty cool little scene. Sandia Peak was right east of Albuquerque. We could ride there, and there were some hiking spots we could go to and do our own little mini backcountry jumps and stuff. And then Santa Fe was a good ski area. Ski Rio is where most of our good contests were. So pretty decent little opportunity to ride. We even had real low angle backcountry runs. We could car shuttle on the backside of the mountain there at Sandia from Albuquerque. So
I'm so curious about that. The Southwest snowboard scene, specifically New Mexico, it doesn't even like really enter my realm as a place that people go snowboarding. What is it? Is it a like vibrant scene there, or is it pretty in between niche?
You know, skiing, snowboarding, that activity is expensive, and there's kind of a lot of poverty in New Mexico. So I wouldn't say it's like thriving down there, but it's happening for sure. You know, and when we were growing up, Taos is the kind of the steeper mountain down there, a bigger mountain. It's close to the tallest peak in New Mexico, Wheeler Peak, and by far the best riding. But they didn't allow snowboarding back then. We would hike it a little. But yeah, I would say that you had to be pretty lucky, even from a family that'd take you riding. You know, my parents did some ski trips when I was about 8, I found out they were doing that. They weren't super into it. And I was like, oh, what? You're going skiing? You're not taking me? So then they started taking me skiing. And then one day I saw a snowboarder go by and was like, what am I doing on these skis? I was real into skateboarding. And so my dad got me a lesson. Back then you had to get certified. You had to pass a test to get on the chairlift, show them a little card. But yeah, it took me a few years to get it kind of figured out. And after about 3 seasons, I'd never skied again and was committed to the snowboarding.
Charger from the beginning. I talked to Shane Charlebois. He mentioned that when you first moved out here, I think the first year, you went up to Shane and he said something like, are you a filmer? Do you film for 4-in-1? You should film me. And then you went and he's like, okay. And he took you to something and you busted. I can't remember exactly what. Do you remember that moment?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I was so hungry to like get it going. You know, I was desperate, and I saw Shane filming some guys in the park on like Big Bertha or something, and somehow I caught word that he was like filming for 411, and I guess I was pretty bold and just went up to him and was like, "Let's do this, bro." But yeah, he had some hit in mind right then. He took me up a Millie chair, and we just hiked out, and there was like a little mini cliff. I think I did like a Todio off this cliff, little frontside rodeo or something, and luckily stomped it.
He was impressed.
Yeah, he was down after that. It's a good thing I landed.
That's a confident man rolling up like that.
Yeah, you miss all the shots you don't take, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. So when did things really start rolling for you? You moved out here, you know, started getting the mags and the videos and sponsors. What did that look like?
Well, so I was doing a lot of local contests and stuff to, you know, help pay the bills. In amateur contests, I generally could do fairly well. And so that was helpful. And then starting to get to know like Seth and some of the local guys and getting more in the scene. And really, like I had a little deal with Solomon actually for a while through Bose, and then I met the team manager there, and then they had a team manager change, and I lost that connection. So I think the season that we shot Represent and Brainstorm, I really didn't have any sponsorships going. Our buddy Nate Cohn was flowing me some outerwear and some boards and stuff, and so after we shot those 2 videos and they came out, it still took getting into that next winter before I really got anything worked out. But I did get a deal with Rip Curl going and Elevation Snowboards. And so that was kind of the first, like, okay, here we go. This is getting legit.
And Represent was 2001. When did you guys move up here?
99.
99.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so it took a couple years kind of getting in the scene, working on the style a little bit, which that process never ends, obviously. But, but yeah.
And that was like peak Brighton local, like... There was all these packs of crews, you know, you had like the New Mexico crew, then you had like the Boise, like Josh Isaac's crew, and like our crew, and then you had, I don't know, there's just a bunch of different crews, a steamboat crew, like Scotty Goodell and everybody, and it was like, there's a foot of fresh, what's everybody hit, and it was just a race out into the backcountry to hit a kicker.
Yeah, such good times back then. So many good people up there riding.
Yeah, the scene back then that was peak for sure. Yeah, it's crazy.
Going back to Represent, thinking about that video, I think that was a cultural classic. First finger on the trigger video. I feel like filled a void that was needed in snowboarding at the time. Like great soundtrack, credible. Like, you know, I feel like big for your career. I know you had a bunch of footage in that, and then a lot of people's, you know, MFM, and there's just so many big names in that. When the video came out and you went to the premiere, what was that experience like?
So I don't know, wild for sure. Like just adrenaline, pretty much. You know, we even put together a little premiere down in Albuquerque for that. It was kind of fun, you know. Played on a big screen, and my parents got to go and stuff. And that's when my parents first started kind of actually like being like, oh, this snowboarding thing is something, huh? Before that, they were kind of like, when are you going to stop riding around on these boards and do something with yourself? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so yeah, pretty big deal to get to see yourself on a big screen.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Around this time too, the blindside fights you brought up. Maybe you could cue this up. I know this is totally unrelated. I'm just curious.
Yeah,
Seth,
that was
I'll
in
let
the
you take
credits,
this.
right?
Yeah, that
Like,
was the represent season. Yeah,
represent
for
season.
sure. Yeah.
I just remember it was just like everybody get to Blindside and Sugar House. Like Tom and the whole crew put this thing on. It was boxing match. It was like you were facing off with James.
Yeah.
And then there was a bigger fight. Who's the bigger or like another
There was
fight?
there was
I
a
think
bunch
you
of
guys were
fights.
like the head.
Well, this was super funny because a couple like Chris Taylor, Jeremy Engel, a couple of my buddies were riding for Blindside, and Tom Lee had put together this like fundraiser. Like I think you had to bring like a can of food or something to get in, like a food drive or whatever. And Tom had hit basically Jeremy, Chris Taylor, and myself up like a few days before this is going down. Like, or week maybe. Like, can you guys fight at this fundraiser? And we're like, what? And they're like, fight who? And so I think if I remember correctly, Chris Taylor fought Wastel. I think
That's right.
Jeremy fought one of the local skateboard homies. I'm not thinking of his name right
Dirty
now.
Hats.
Pretty famous.
Dirty Hats.
Lizard?
No,
No, not Lizard.
They were
a little
young.
older.
Atkin,
No. Anyway, and
Justice,
Might have
Shane
been
Justice.
Mike Murdoch.
Mike
maybe.
Murdoch?
no, it was a good buddy of Shane Justice.
Okay.
Anyway, and so yeah, and then they set me up to fight Roundy, and I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. And then I like find out Roundy's like actually like a boxer. I'm like, oh crap, what did I sign myself up for? Anyway, that was kind of fun. Big padded gloves, so it wasn't too bad, and I was stoked. Afterwards, I think Roundy's dad came up to me and was like, you did pretty good. We thought Roundy was just going to mop you up. Because he definitely whooped me pretty good.
That was a rager, though. I just remember it was just packed and people were just going nuts. That was a wild time for sure.
So you held your own in a boxing match, though.
Yeah.
You were going. Do you may have any connections on the full swing, or?
Oh, yeah, we were pummeling each other. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Not a lot of defense, I think, on both of our parts.
You get gassed, dude. I feel like you watch people fight for however many rounds they do, 10. Like you actually box your buddy. I got like 30 seconds, and I'm like, hold on, I need a breather.
Oh, yeah, afterwards, Roundy and I were in the back, both laying on the ground. Just like, good job, dude. Can't even talk.
I talked to Andy Wright, and he actually said, I hope someone asks him about fighting 3 guys out in front of the library in Salt Lake City, the nightclub. He was and probably still is a savage fighter.
Oh, man.
So have you fucked people up?
Yeah, what's up
Well,
with that?
you grew up in New Mexico. You kind of learn to, you either get picked on or you stand up for yourself. So, but yeah, that it was just a night out partying, and one thing led to another. I think some guys were being weird to my girlfriend at the time, and it was just the two of us, and yeah, got into it with a few dudes.
Can you elaborate on exactly what happened, please?
Who won?
That sounds a little vague.
Did you win or?
Well, honestly, I was super drunk, so I don't remember real well, but I remember at one point, I'm like, okay, it's just me, and there's more than one person, so knocked one of them out, and then another one's coming after me, and then to pretty much knock him out. And I remember at one point, one of the guys I had knocked out was like getting back up, and I'm like, dude, I'm going to knock you out again. But by this time, like, there was some people that had started noticing what was happening, so I almost feel like Shane might have been there, but that was so long ago. Anyway, not exactly a highlight.
Sounds like
in
you won.
life.
No, that's a good skill to have. I'm 0-3 in bar fights. I've only got beat up.
I will say I've lost a few.
Oh, you have?
I've lost a few. That's part of the learning process, you know.
You
And
can't just
it-
1v3 without taking a couple
Yeah,
rounds.
I
Yeah.
mean, I woke up in an ambulance in New Mexico when I was young, and they're like, you need stitches. And I'm like, give them to me. They're like, we can't. And I'm like, all right, wrap my head. I'm going back to the party.
Killer. All right, get back to snowboarding. Where do we go from here? Brainstorm and represent the same year?
Yep.
And I watched Brainstorm. Is the part?
So my part's in the credits.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was an afterthought for basically Shane and Mikey just kind of looped me into the project, and then Whitey was cool and threw some footage in there. So that was also probably part of why it took a little while to get some momentum on some sponsorships after that, because I'm sure a lot of people didn't see that footage, but it was pretty cool of Whitey to throw it in after the credits,
Oh yeah,
It's awesome.
And then the next year was Happy Hour, which you guys probably filmed together a bit.
Yep. Some street stuff and some backcountry stuff. That was like when sleds were just starting to pop off.
Yeah. And I don't know if you felt this way, Seth, but I remember putting in the work that year, and then when we see the video come out and our footage was kind of like, we didn't have parts. It was kind of like these segments that were cool to watch, but it was kind of like, oh, okay, I got to step up my game if I want the part.
Yeah, that was the biggest motivation kick in the ass. Like,
Yeah.
all right, okay.
Yeah, they kind of portioned you guys out.
That sucked.
Yeah. Like you go to the premiere and you're like, oh, I don't have a part. Okay, I'll just add some clips.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, that video is awesome.
Then there was a bunch of extra footage though in the after hours. Like that's where it all kind of landed.
Right.
I think for both of us, right?
Yeah.
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 A lot of debauchery in that video.
Yeah. Crazy.
But the big one, I feel like the real breakout part is the Back in Black. Would you agree?
That was cool to be part of that. Yeah, I mean, Whitey did like this cool intro thing for me, and yeah, it's like kind of the first real big deal part.
Silk, we got a question about that intro on Patreon.
Yes,
Thanks
we
to our
do.
Patreon members. We appreciate you guys supporting the show.
This question's from Filmer D, always asking good questions. We need a story from the Kingpin era. Any memorable moments from working with Whitey on the writer intros?
Yeah, I mean, one great thing that I remember is just getting to hang out with J2, There's like a funny part where he's like bouncing me off this bed, because the bed was like horizontal or vertical. And just the amount of effort that Whitey put into all those skits, was amazing. Like when I showed up there, I'm like, whoa, you got all this going on for my intro. Like, yeah, the dude is really talented and goes the extra mile to make cool things happen.
Explain the concept of that intro to the listeners that maybe don't know.
So it's basically like me waking up to an alarm and kind of levitating out of bed, right? So he's got this whole kind of studio setup, and then they've got me on like a little trolley where I'm like floating through the rooms and splashing water in my face and putting my goggles on and then out the door. Yeah. So it's just like kind of a full, like a little Hollywood setup that he built.
And it was the camera was sideways and the set was straight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he tilted the camera as you got out of bed, and then it's all sort of like going through the walls like a rad.
Yeah.
Sort of like they do in the movies or whatever. And
Yeah.
it's all that was like awesome when Whitey was getting into the intros and he was just like really focusing on making like cool things, like very simple, cool things to just give it that extra touch. I like that intro. That intro was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard stories of like, I don't know if it was the season or two before that when those guys were filming a bunch of the skits in New York.
Destroyer. Yeah.
Yeah, some of that stuff sounded like a wild time to be involved in, and Mikey's antics. And yeah, I mean, the Whitey just always did a good job with like going the extra mile and building some like character, giving people some personality and something to remember besides just clip after clip.
Yeah, that's interesting. Is that the same year you went? Did you split ways and go to MacDog?
Yeah, that was
That's
the
when-
Shakedown year.
Yeah,
And
Shakedown.
then Back in Black same
And
year.
it was always funny. It was like, are you a Kingpin person or are you a MacDog person? And they both had their different aesthetics, but I love them both. But God, the Kingpins are a classic.
Yeah, and I mean, back then, like when Seth and I were coming up, I don't know how you were, Seth, but I would buy every video, all 4 to 6 of them that came out every year. I would buy them, go into the shop as soon as they came out. What videos came out this week? Okay, I'll buy all 3 of those. And then you go home and you study them, and then a couple more land, you go get those, and then you've got your study
catalog.
material for the season. So it's just so different back then.
That's such a wild thing to think about. 4 to 6 videos a year.
Yeah.
We made a playlist this year. What's the total, Silk?
I don't remember. It was
118
100.
or
Yeah,
something?
well over 100 for sure.
Well over 100 videos that came out on YouTube last year.
I mean, that's overwhelming, you know?
Yeah.
It's, I mean, how do you feel like that's changed the ability for a pro snowboarder to really like become iconic, you know, with all that saturation?
It's definitely confusing.
To say the least.
Dude, I mean, I was actually talking to my wife about this. There's a lot of like subgenres of snowboarding now. It's almost like music. Some people like punk, some people like pop, some people like classic, and there's a lot of little niches that people fit into, but it is watered down and saturated, like you said. And I think back when you were filming the 4 to 6 videos, it was very clear who had a seat at the table, who was a top dog, who wasn't. Now it's anyone with the camera uploads to YouTube, and sometimes the regional crews make better videos than the pros, and that's always really cool to see.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, in some ways, I feel like there's more opportunity now, but I think it is tougher, you know, to really develop these kind of like, you know, super pros like we used to have, you know, the MFMs and the different people like that were able to really stand out, you know, JP, Jeremy, just like, I mean, because even your kind of fill-in people like myself or whatever, you still kind of developed a name back then, you know, because it was just way less saturated.
Yeah, it kind of felt like you made it. You know what I mean? There was like only X amount of spots. There's X amount of videos, and you kind of had to like just get that sort of, you know, industry hype or buzz, and then you had a couple sponsors or whatever, you know, and then you kind of just like made it. It wasn't like we're making a movie, you ride for us, you're in the movie. It was kind of like you had to really try to do something awesome to, you know, get the peers to like back you up. Like Mikey did so much for both of us, like getting us in Kingpin and MacDog, whatever, you know. And it was just kind of like you just kind of created this sort of thing for yourself, and then all of a sudden it was like you had a video part and you're on the screen and you're just like, oh, this is what I've been dreaming about my entire life.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's cool.
It really did feel like there's like this moment where you're like, okay, they let me in. They gave me the key.
Yeah.
Now I better not lose it.
Hold on to that damn thing forever. As long as I can.
100%. And around that time, I don't know when One Love came out, but it's always cool to see you. It seemed like you gave your B footage to Finger on the Trigger.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I feel like I always wanted to do it all. I wanted to do contests. I wanted to ride rails. I wanted to ride Big Mountain. And sometimes I feel like I've spread myself a little thin. But, you know, in your mind, you're like, I can film 2 video parts, but it's hard enough filming one. You know, I mean, I feel like honestly looking back, I could have been way more focused on just staying with the video part. Just one good video part, so much better than, you know, it took me a long time to learn to say no, if I even ever did, you know, to like going on a shop tour or doing a story trip for a mag. And that stuff was really good. You know, I think I did pretty good with getting a lot of photos in the mag. And even going out on times and just working just with a photographer or something. But it's so hard to actually make a really good video part. I mean, I don't think I ever really pulled it off, you know? Like, and that's one thing. I have no regrets. I'm just so much gratitude for everything. But I think if I was to do something a little different, I would really just try to hone in on making one good video part, you know?
What do you think are the ingredients to a really good video part?
Good question, Silk.
Thanks.
Good job.
Yeah.
I mean, 100% dedication, staying healthy through the whole season, you know, I think is key, and having a bit of a vision for it. You know, I mean, looking at some of the guys that pulled it off, you know, I would say that that's probably what they did, you know. I mean, I think Seth really did a good job putting together some video parts, you know. I mean, what am I missing in that formula?
I think crew. good crew too. You know, working with good camaraderie with the filmer and the people you're riding with, like, you know, just having like consistency.
That's actually a great point, because I've been out there in situations where you don't feel like the people you're working with are hyped when you get a shot, you know, and it's so much better when the people you're working with are, you can tell that they feel good that you just got a shot, that, you know, and it's not just like, oh, I got to one up you or something, you know, they're like, no, that was sweet, you know, so that the environment of the crew is definitely a huge part of that.
You mentioned Seth as someone who you feel like put together some good video parts. Who are some other people who you feel like were making some really good video parts?
I mean, always Marco, just raw talent, you know. Gigi Ruff seemed like he always had these like epic long parts. Nicholas, obviously JP Walker, Jeremy Jones has had some great ones. I always really enjoyed Mikey LeBlanc's part. I mean, his parts, I think it's his brainstorm part that's like 2 songs long.
Yeah. 2-song-hander.
Yeah.
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 Incredible. Yeah. Good list right there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is a total derail, but I'm going to go on it anyways. Like, the skateboarder Mark Johnson passed away recently, as we know, or I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah. So, but he's been somebody who I've been growing up watching my whole life, and I was affected by it. I've never met him. I don't know him at all personally, but like, it's kind of, I don't know how to explain this properly. I guess I've kind of like thrown myself at video parts really hard in my life, and you have a bit of an existential crisis sometimes. You're like, why are we doing this? Is it worth it? What is happening? Your life's in shambles. You know, we've all been there, right? Your life's in shambles from filming a part. You're like, what is the purpose of this? You know, you can kind of get lost in the existential crisis, like I mentioned. But when Mark passed away, I was thinking about like how inspired I was by all of his video parts throughout my life. And you're kind of like, fuck, it was worth it.
Yeah.
Like, what you did was worth it.
Yeah.
It's fucking timeless and really inspiring. And these video parts, like, have a profound impact on people's lives, even though you can question it.
Yeah, and these days too, with YouTube, you know, a lot of that old stuff you can find. You don't necessarily need a VCR to find it.
Yeah, it's true. Most of it's out there.
Mm-hmm.
Someone's putting it up.
Yeah.
Shout out to the people doing that. Moving along, I really loved your part in Promo Copy. How did that come to be, filming with Defective?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of how, you know, Kingpin stopped making videos, so had to find a new home. And I think my Vans team manager, Brian Knox, set me up with those guys. And that was awesome. He was a great team manager, great friend. And, you know, talking about the crew thing, I think he built the Vans team with having friends in mind, basically getting people together that he wanted to be around and travel with. So our whole Vans team was awesome to go to boot meetings with or hang out up at summer camp up in Govey or whatever. But anyway, I think he set me up with Defective Films and
Sean Johnson.
yeah. And that was kind of cool because I was super into the whiskey videos when I was younger, you know, all the debauchery and fighting and breaking bottles and things like that. Actually, I think there's some bottle breaking in the credits when we were copying the whiskey videos. But yeah, super legendary getting to meet Sean Johnson and get shown around the Whistler backcountry with him and hang out with the Finns. I used to work in Australia in the summer as a snowboard coach in like 99, 2000, maybe even 2001. And so down there I had some Finnish buddies. So I knew a couple Finnish words and stuff. So hanging out with like Malmi and Ika and Lowry was super fun because I could say some funny things to them in Finnish. And I was like jiving with those guys super good. That was a really fun video to be part of.
Yeah, that was some of your best footage, I feel like, and really was on a good one. Thinking back, I was going through all the parts. You hit Pyramid Gap, it seems like several times in your career. And really, when you go through, you go to all the token hogs. Like, you always hit the big wedges. I guess the question would be like, what's it What's it like being the big jump guy? Like, you know what I mean? Like, all right, let's go build a freaking hog.
I mean, it was a funny time back then because I felt like that was kind of one of the things is like go bigger. I mean, that was kind of the vibe. Go back to the same spot that's been shot, and you got to pull the wedge back to where it doesn't even match the landing, you know? And then you crash a bunch because it doesn't match up. I mean, it makes me think back to we were at this USASA Nationals at Big Bear when I was probably like 17. And this was kind of a funny thing because we get to Nationals and they're like, no inverts allowed. And we're like, what? That's like all we know how to do. We've just been cork spinning and flipping all season, you know? And so we're doing our practice runs and I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, but we're like doing our practice runs and the people like who built the course and are running the event go up to our main guy that brought us and is like, we're going to kick your guys out if they don't stop doing inverts. And so we keep practicing and trying to do flat spins and stuff and can't really put it together. And but anyway, they had a big air kicker. It wasn't part of the event. And that was like one of the first like big jumps I got to hit at Mammoth. And I remember with Chris Taylor, like we're up at the top of this thing. It's right above the lodge there. And we're just getting the courage up to hit this like biggest jump we've ever hit. You know, it was probably, I don't know how big it was, a 60-foot park jump or something. And we hit it and it was super fun. And I think ever since then, I kind of started getting this like feeling for hitting big jumps. You know, and then I remember another time when we first moved here to Utah, we were in Grizzly doing this little backcountry jump that we thought was awesome. And we saw Candide Tomvex all of a sudden get shot out of the sky, just like, and we were like, what the heck? And he was hitting Chad's Gap. And I think that moment kind of changed everything for me too. I was just
Yeah, we were all up there.
right. I was
That was the first time it was ever hit.
I'm like, okay, what are we doing on this little jump? So I don't know why I got kind of hooked into these bigger jumps, but I think once you start feeling that airtime, you know, and then I also, as you're filming video parts, I started to like have this feeling of like, you know, when your shots don't make it, like in Happy Hour, you know, it's like, okay, well, why didn't those shots make it? And I started getting this kind of mindset, well, if I'm not scared when I'm trying to film a video clip, it's probably not going to make the movie, you know? So I guess that's kind of a long-winded answer to, I don't know how I got into doing all the big jumps.
This is a great answer. Do you like going first?
I think it depends on the jump, yeah. But I think I like going first. Less bomb holes out there.
Yeah, totally. I noticed this one jump. It's funny. I didn't ever put it together, but if you go up Dry Fork on the backside of Alta, it's like
the gap back there?
The gap back there. And
Yeah.
I knew that skiers had built it. And I actually sent some photos to Sage, and I'm like, this would be a cool step over jump. And I realized that you guys hit that in promo copy.
Yeah. Yeah, it was super. Yeah, that jump's cool.
There's nowhere to film it
so
from.
hard to get speed.
There's nowhere to film it from either. You have to film from the knuckle.
It's kind of a weird jump. It's a big build. It's a tricky in run. But yeah, it's funny how like the day we were hitting that jump is the day that Travis and Roman hit Chad's Gap for pop, you know? And I had it in my mind I wanted to be the first snowboarder to hit Chad's Gap. And then those guys threw down a hard session on it, and I was like, oh, yeah, probably can't one-up that. Literally the same day we were hitting that Dry Fork Gap. The Absinthe crew's over there getting her done.
You
on
saw
Chad's
you
Gap.
probably see the chopper up in the air because it was buzzing.
Yeah, I don't know. I just caught word of it, and I was like, oh, man, we're hitting this little baby gap. These guys are over there hitting.
05?
Hit that with Bjorn, right? Or was that Bjorn maybe hit it too?
No,
Bjorn
I
hit
think-
in this scramble.
Okay.
But yeah. His first year. Could've
whatever
been that
year. Yeah, 05 sounds about right.
05.
Yeah.
Was that
What about, let's go through the list of tricks on Pyramid Gap, because you did back one, is it cab 7?
Yeah. I think so. Yeah, Cab 7.
That's a rowdy one on Pyramid. Dude.
Yeah,
not
he was always hitting everything switch to switch. All your rail clips, so many switchboard slides like on Fifth South, and like definitely so many cab sevens. I always remember
That one don't make any sense for me, at least. In the
Yeah,
power.
me neither, personally.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why that made sense for me at the time. I mean, that in run is definitely scary switch.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Psycho.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't know. I think you just, you enough time on the board, and it just starts. One thing leads to another.
Go fast backwards.
Yeah.
Right at this massive gap.
One
You
thing
have to
leads to
go.
another.
You have to make it.
Cab 70 pyramid.
All right, since we're talking videos, let's jump into Name That Video part. All right, Coulter, what's your confidence 0 through 10 on video parts?
Do you guys rock climb at all?
Hell no.
No.
No. You ever hear about how your palms get sweaty when you're about to do a rock climb?
I believe it.
Yeah, my palms are sweaty. My confidence is like a -2.
-2, palms are sweaty.
All right, I kind of served this one up on a platter.
That's
It's-
classic. That's
but
classic.
We'll just see how you do. I don't want to make insult to injury if you don't get it. Here we go.
Could be dangerous.
Thought for life, ain't no changing me.
Oh, yeah.
Thought for life, ain't no changing me.
That's MFM, Back in Black.
That's correct.
Wow.
Congratulations.
That was a tater ball.
Yeah, that's a straight
One of the
meatball sub.
only ones I've ever known. Too.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know his level, but that one's iconic. Congratulations. You won a bomb hole merch pack. Seth, you packed that thing up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, what do we got in there?
We got a hoodie. We got a Yeti
Epic.
water bottle. We got our hunting cap.
Got
We
some
got
sort of
a-
weapon in
we have
there.
a sticker?
Epic
Right.
sticker that says I won Name That Video part, and all I got was this stupid sticker.
Yeah, the Name That Video part sticker is actually the most coveted thing in that entire bag.
I'm putting that on my dirt bike for sure.
Yeah. That and the turtle box speaker are probably tied.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Both work as weapons.
Appreciate it.
100%. Hell yeah, congratulations.
I'll dig into this later.
Yeah, absolutely. Part 2 of Name That Video parts for our listeners. What do they do, Silk?
You just get that sticker. Nothing
Yeah, if
big.
you
nothing,
win, you get the
Yeah, if you
sticker.
win, you get the sticker. Oh, you got to comment on the photo of Chris on our Instagram. We need a video part and writer.
That's correct.
Yep, first one to get it gets it.
Here we go.
Come on. Lights, cameras, action.
All right. Thank you guys for playing.
You know what?
That's familiar.
It's tickling something in the
I
back of my
didn't know
brain.
it.
Great segment, that one, by the way. Really love it. Let's talk. I was wanting to talk to you about board sponsors because it seemed like you had the evolution of board sponsors. It was the Elevation, the first one.
Yeah, my very first board contract, it was super small, was with Solomon.
Yep.
And those boards were sick. They used to have these, like, it wasn't a traditional cap construction. They carved so good. She broke them, terrible to repair. But
Those
yeah,
very first.
yeah,
the
black base ones.
prototype.
boards.
Yeah, super fast bases.
Yeah,
Yeah.
foam core. Almost,
Michael
maybe.
Chuck rode those bad Larrys.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Dude, that guy was sick. Yeah, then Elevation was the next big one. And that was super cool. You know, Scotty Arnold and Inglesman, Bert Lamar. Good vibes on that brand. Marcus Aggie was on there for a little bit. And then something happened with the factory and stuff. And, you know, Bert couldn't pay us anymore. But we were still committed and going to keep it going. But then Wastel came to me with this opportunity for Sapient. And it was a good paycheck. And I couldn't kind of just stick around hoping things were going to work out at Elevation. And Wastel was a guy that I looked up to forever, you know, and was a good friend. So, yeah, that was kind of cool to get on the Sapient thing. And then after like 3 years in there, they started doing funny stuff with the team. And I could have re-signed with them, but I didn't, overconfident that I would find another board deal. I never did. So that was...
What was going on with the funding of Sapient?
They had done Fila shoes, and I think that they thought they were going to come in and do snowboarding the same way. And I think snowboard consumers are different than they're savvy, you know. And so they did eventually start listening to us and using good imagery on the ads and not just throwing logos. And But I think they thought it was going to go a lot faster and grow faster than it did, because I think we did get some momentum with it. And the boards were definitely good. But they didn't want to resign Kurt, and he had just put a sick video part out. And I was just like, I don't get this at all, you know? And they didn't want to, like, use whatever they were going to give me to keep Kurt and I on. And I just didn't feel good about continuing in something that didn't feel right.
So where'd you go from there?
Kurt and I started doing the solid boards, trying to rebirth that. But then, you know, shortly after that, I kind of lost all my other sponsors and things. Just, you know, I had a couple injuries that fell in line with the '08 recession, and was some unproductive years with videos and photos, and just, you know, kind of lost the momentum pretty much.
Okay. I was always wondering I didn't know much about that Sapient brand. I remember always seeing you riding it. And
Yeah. And I mean, the boards were good. And Kurt and I actually did this really cool series with them, because we both had a pro model, and we were riding the exact same shapes. And so one season we were like, dude, let's do this collab board, and we'll do like a series that's like a mural. And we got this guy Sam Flores to do the art, and they were super cool boards. Yeah, it is too bad how that worked kind of ended, because I think there was some potential there. And they kept going for a handful of years after we left. But
I forgot that they were backed by Fila.
well, it was the same guys that basically blew Fila up.
Oh, distributed it or whatever.
Yeah, and did all the marketing for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to jump back into promo copy, because there was one other question I had about that. Their opening clip, you ride this double cliff drop and go ejecto cedo half backflip. What the hell happened? Were you okay?
Yeah, I think I was spitting up a little blood after that, for sure. And that was a really crazy experience, because I was starting to like build confidence in like free riding, and had always had it in my mind that I wanted to like learn how to ride big lines and stuff, and was constantly working towards that. And after that happened, my confidence to just even hit like a single cliff was just squashed. I mean, I remember going with Ika for like when some other filming was happening, maybe being like, hey, let's go do a couple little just mini free ride lines over here, because I got to rebuild my confidence for a few days after that. But yeah, basically we were shooting, and I saw this cliff I wanted to hit, and so I put in
Sonora?
This was in Whistler.
Okay, yep.
And so I put in a boot pack up to this cliff and just hit like a little drop. And then after that, I was kind of looking at it from below going, all right, yeah, I can hit it a little bit bigger. And Malmy was going up my boot pack. And so anyway, I thought I had good reference on what I wanted to do. And Malmy goes up, and I think through him adding to the boot pack, or anyway, I just kind of lost my reference and came off the first cliff and was like, oh shit, I am in the wrong spot. There's another cliff. And so when I land, I'm just like, I don't know what's below. And I just tried to punch as hard as I could, and it kind of like Wu-tanged me out. And I'm just upside down going, I might be landing on rocks. And scared the shit out of Sean Johnson and the whole crew and myself. And yeah, that was a close call for sure.
Legendary clip, though.
Yeah.
When you slam that hard, and it's like the Gigi when he flies off the thing in Alaska.
Yeah.
It's like one of those all-time bails.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty heavy for sure.
Glad you're okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And then it seems like the next evolution after promo copy was that when you started filming with Absinthe?
Yep. From there, I don't know how that all panned out. Maybe Shane gave me the opportunity, or I don't know why I would have. I think it was just like back then it was Kingpin, Absinthe, Mac Dog, you know. So if you had the chance to get on the Absinthe thing, it was kind of a no-brainer, you know.
Well, we actually have a question from none other than the captain, Shane Charlie Boy. Here we go.
Hey guys, it's Shane Charlebois. It's awesome to hear that Chris is on the bomb hole. There's so many things that you can talk about and share with us. But since the first time meeting you at Brighton, filming for Kingpin, you have been shredding so hard, but so casual about it. One of the things that comes to mind is, I think towards the end of your filming career, you hadn't hit any jumps in a few years, and then came out when we were filming Rocker Gap, the biggest gap that we know of in Utah, and you did a cab 9, stomped the hell out of it, and made it look so casual. Just curious, because you've never shown fear that I've seen, and just wondering how that works for you. Is it something that's always in there? Is it something that's a plan, like you always are trying to push yourself? Or are you just ready to go no matter what? Please share more, and it's awesome that you're doing this. Can't wait to see this bomb haul. Have a great rest of the day, guys. Peace.
Yeah, thanks, Captain. Thanks, Captain, for the question. Love that guy. What an amazing human. I guess the first thing that comes to my mind is fear is just weakness leaving the body, you know, when you can dive into it and overcome that fear, you know, and it kind of comes back to that mindset I got where if you're trying to get a video shot for a legit video, there's probably should be some fear involved, you know, but I think learning how to balance fear and risk, I mean, risk management is what we're doing when you're out there, you know, trying to get shred clips. So I often like to think of the worst case scenario and then kind of solve the problem from there and try to eliminate that worst case scenario is kind of one of my little tactics to managing situations that I'm afraid of, you know. But yeah, that Rockers Gap hit was
Well, we should bring it back to maybe the session 1. Start from the beginning. Tell the whole story of Rocker. Because you hit it. There's 2 sessions, right?
Yeah. So the first session, it was on the radar for sure. And
explain this jump to people that are unfamiliar. It's probably the biggest jump in Utah.
It's a massive step down. It's over kind of behind Brighton, and it's a summer road. So you can, you know, you go up there and you go from Brighton to Park City in the summer, and you kind of see it. And it's one of the closest little zones that we could go sled in, right? And so we saw some skiers do it in the past, and I knew one day it was like something we had to try. And so Forrest Shear and I went up there and kind of started stacking the wedge up with Stan Evans, who was always a huge help with everything, teaching me how to snowmobile, and always down to get out and work hard and shovel the jumps and get it done, and Shane. So I think that was the full crew that day. And we stack it up, and I think it was in the storm, and hit it the next morning. And that day we learned that the landing catches a lot of light, you know, and only our first few attempts were we able to like, get stomps on it. And then there was another storm rolling in, and we had built it pretty narrow. And so we widened it up during the storm the next day and got a little sunset session on it. And I think Eastone was up there. I got my only cover shot that evening with some real late light, and we were kind of guarding it. We stole some ropes from Deer Valley, I think, and I had like roped off the landing so the snowmobilers like couldn't get in there and high mark the landing, because we've had landings get high marked like literally in the middle of the night by some sledders, probably on meth or something, you know. But so yeah, we had like roped it all off with Deer Valley ropes and stuff, and then came back and got another session on it. Third session during the first kind of go at it, and I wanted to get a cab 9 on it super bad. I felt like I had that pretty on lock, and I could not land it. I tried so many times. And at that point, Gigi had showed up, and so after I had pretty much destroyed the landing and was exhausted, Gigi's like, "You mind if I hit it?" And I'm like, "No, Gigi, go work your magic," you know? And so he fucking throws down like a switchback 3 on it. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Dude, insane.
So sick.
Yeah.
That's probably the heaviest thing I've really
Did you go first
seen.
on it?
Yeah.
Were you scared?
Oh, I was super scared.
Yeah, dude. Downhill takeoff. It's so flat. It's like, what is it, south facing? The snow is always shit in that landing.
Yeah, it's got a lot of Yeah, it's like southeast.
Southeast,
Yeah, so you got to get it first light. And the first hit, I went so big on it. Like, I mean, that's what you're going to do, though, on something like that, right? You don't come up short. That's the worst case scenario. So don't come up short. You're better off going to the moon than. And on that jump, you're not going to the bottom. There's no way.
So you got cab 5 that first like round of hitting it.
Yeah, and in the back three, the first hit on it.
And then the cab 9 where you go over the bars is just like violent tomahawk.
Oh, and that was just one of probably like 12, you know? Like I literally just spent the whole morning just eating it, trying to get that trick, you know? So then when I heard Bodie was going to hit it, I was like, I know I can do this trick on that jump. I know I can. I just needed a bigger board, you know? And so Bodie let me session it with him, which was super cool. And I had no health insurance, no sponsors, nothing. I just wanted that trick to know I could do it. And then I got to shuttle Bodie and Parker Duke on it and watch those guys throw down.
So legendary. How many years later was it?
God, that was probably like 5 years later.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Bodie did back 7 on it, real good.
He did a few tricks on it. I was trying to remember.
Back 5. I remember seeing a clip of Ozzie Henning die on a back 7 on it too. I think it was probably that same session. I might be making that up, but
yeah. I wonder if that was a different session.
yeah. Still though, that jump, I don't think there's a reason why nobody goes back to it.
The landing doesn't match up super good.
It's kind of, it's just a big step down road gap with, like you said, downhill takeoff. You got to build out the transition, make a wedge. And the landing's over that weird bush too, right? Or that bush burns through.
Bush right next to it. And it's a little flat for, you got to really want it, the landing.
Yeah.
That's why I was really blown away with Gigi and Bodie watching them like land switch and stuff on it. I mean, super heavy jump.
Legendary. So you get with the Absinthe crew, it seemed like your riding almost changed a little bit when you started link with Absinthe, like really leaning into a little bit more free riding and bigger mountains.
Yeah, and I always kind of had that vision. I mean, TB4 was one of the first videos that kind of got me really, really committed to snowboarding, and I always had this vision of riding in Alaska. So always working towards that. I mean, I love all aspects of snowboarding. I'll ride half pipe really bad, but love it, you know, handrails, whatever. But I always had this vision of like trying to do some Tom Burt lines, you know?
Well, we have a guest question from none other than Kurt Wastel in regards to this. Here we go.
Hey, Coulter, Wastel here. Love you, dude. I was just thinking about when we were in AK for the first time and we were on top of the peak and you were about ready to take your first run and just how that felt for you and what that did for your life. Because it was a special thing for me to watch. Love you, dude. Later.
Wastel, love you, bro. Like a brother. Really great to get to share that moment with Wastel. Do you remember the movie Lines? Did you guys ever see that? It was a documentary that Axel Poportier made.
Yeah.
So I first get up to Haines, Alaska for my first trip ever, and Axel's like, you know, I'm looking for a rookie rider. Who's your most rookie? Hosnick's like, this kid right here. So Axel grabs me and Kurt and our buddy Mark Schultz, and it goes out to this face called Rooster Tail. And it hadn't snowed in a while, you know, and I'm got all these Tom Burt lines in my mind, you know, Johanna Olofsson, like I'm going to go and crush this shit. Alaska, here we come, you know. And so we go out to this big face and they let me go first, you know. So I'm at the top and, you know, I'm looking at the photo I got on my little Elf digi camera, and I'm at the top and looking down and getting my landmarks, and I'm like, yeah, there's no thing. I'm just going to flash this. Get into this line, and it's a little bit spined up, and the runnels are like ice and sloughing like crazy, and I just eat shit, get sloughed like 800 feet down the mountain, and just eat a huge piece of humble pie. and then watch Wastel and Schultz just lace the lines, and they have experience and they know how to read the terrain. They know where to be. They know where the snow's good, where the snow's not good. And so, class was in session. I was watching how you're supposed to do it. I was thinking I was going to haul ass down this thing, and these guys are making turns, managing the situation, keeping their speed down, and doing it beautifully. And so I'm like, all right, I see what to do. Let me back up there, So we get another bump, and then I make it about 2-3 turns further, tomahawk, get back to my board, sketchily side slip down, just another huge piece of humble pie. And then I proceed to watch Kurt and Mark do 2 other beautiful lines, and just read the terrain. It's different. Alaska's its own animal. It takes time, I think there's very few people that just go up there and do it right away. It's a learning process up there for sure. But cool to have Kurt up there and starting my never-ending education of riding Alaska.
Now, while you were getting flushed on your first ever drop in an AK, were you shitting your pants?
I don't think there was time. Yeah, I mean, it was scary for sure. I think I knew I was going to be all right, but yeah, it was shocking how it felt like just all of a sudden you're going like 60 miles an hour, just the sheer speed. I don't even think I had time to be scared. I was more just like impressed with how fast I was getting flushed.
Wow, we're moving quick. It's way different than it looked like from the bottom.
Yeah. Everything's just so much bigger than you think it's going to be too, I mean, I literally thought I was going to like 3-turn that thing, and it was like, no, you needed to make like 17 turns down it. Yeah.
Yeah, like you're looking around and you're like, that could either be a 5-foot cliff or a 150-foot cliff. I have no idea.
Yeah.
The whole perception is just off.
Yeah, you just have no reference, and it's all just bigger. Yeah, like a lot bigger.
So how did your Alaska riding develop?
Really slowly, It was interesting, like group dynamics and things, and being up there with the Absinthe, the crew, one of the years I was there, we had like literally everybody that was on the production up there. And I got a couple moments to be out with like Jonathan Moore or Nicholas Mueller over the years and start learning. But often you're with like a jump crew or just that first year actually ended up being a really tough year with stability, and not a lot of lines got ridden, and often the people that were starting to step to lines would then trigger an avalanche. And that year we saw like all the film crews leave, and we were still kind of there lingering at the end and doing some little jumps and stuff. But it took a long time. I mean, it took me not being in the filmmaking game anymore and still going up there and just doing it on my own and getting out with the right people in the right situations and the right days to start getting on what I had envisioned, and a little bit of it, I did get like an Eddie Bauer sponsorship going. I kept trying to get sponsors going, and it was kind of like the fake it till you make it thing. I'm like, I did this 9-10 years ago. I'm just going to do it again. I'm going to keep working at this, and got that going. And they were supportive of me transitioning to guiding. But through that, I did have a tiny bit of heli budget a couple times through them, and paid for some stuff on my own. It's been a long, slow process to learn to ride up there, and it's never ending. And it just takes a lot of budget. A lot of those guys that were really putting it together, they were spending, 30, 40, 50 grand on heli time in a season, I mean, that's what it takes. It takes getting out a lot and being able to be like, put the cameras away. Let's just ride a little bit. Let's learn to ride these mountains,
That's the craziest thing. It's like you get the invite to go film an AK, and you're like kind of the new end of the crew, and you're scared shitless, and you get up there and you're just like, where's the learning curve? Because it's all of a sudden you're dropped off on a peak. You're like, this is the craziest thing ever. And then you see the client runs and you're like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I need about like 10, 12 of those and then maybe step to this thing I'm standing on right now.
Yeah, and it's good to work your way up too, you know? I mean, I think you see these epic big lines that guys were doing, and way back in the day, I think those guys were free riding a bunch and they're working their way up to that moment that makes it in the film, you know? And I think guys like Nicholas and Gigi also were really good about like kind of mini shredding Alaska, which mini shredding Alaska is still big, but they're like picking apart the mountain and getting to know the scale and how to ride it and slowly working their way up to like some of the bigger runs, you know?
Well, I want to know, I've never been to Alaska. I kind of almost have in my head that someone's going to drop me off on something I'm going to be terrified of. You know, Bodie, like I've had friends that have been buried there and fuck, I'll be honest with you, it scares the shit out of me. But as somebody that's never been to Alaska, sell me on going to Alaska.
Yeah, I mean, you can ride kind of whatever you have envisioned up there, right? It all doesn't have to be the NAR. So it is the best place to snowboard for sure. It's like the Super Bowl of snowboarding. And it doesn't have to be like scary heavy, you know? There's everything you could ever want to do up there. And I think that someone who's put in a lot of time and is good at riding and enjoys riding powder owes it to themselves to try to have that experience. For sure.
You're shifting my mind here.
You know, you've developed this skill set, and you know, at some point the metal isn't going to be kind on the body anymore, and those powder turns, you know, they're gentle. They're gentle.
I'm not going to turn my back on the metal, but I am open to Alaska. You can love both.
You can do both.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that the love never dies, but you know, at some point maybe you just want some soul boarding.
Yeah, it's definitely making me curious about it. Bomb hole trip, you think Silk, you do good on top of dropping you off at Birthday Bowl?
Yeah, it's perfect. I love it.
Yeah, some client runs. We'll start with some client runs.
I could see Silk crushing Birthday Bowl. That's a good one.
All right.
And it's got just enough scare
I'm confident
factor.
now.
Yeah, just that.
I don't want to be too scared. So
I think
Birthday Bowl's probably a good
mandatory
start.
all bomb hole employees have to launch that
mandatory
giant
Birthday Bowl.
cornice at the top of Birthday Bowl to start things off.
Yeah,
First
you
run.
could get sloughed down Birthday Bowl and you'd be fine.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
I'm game.
This is coming from a guy who was impressed by the velocity the first time he got flushed.
Yeah,
Okay.
wow. Very fast.
All right, before we move into guiding, there's a couple, you know, I want to talk about the Absinthe years. One of the standout moments was jumping the half pipe in Future Proof. That looked like a terrifying park kicker.
That was pretty sick. It was cool. You know, I've had a couple little sessions with Bjorn over the years, someone who I've always looked up to as a human and a snowboarder. Super great guy. But yeah, Stan Evans, I think, was shooting some skiers on it and worked out.
Snowbird, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a Snowbird?
Snowbird.
Damn.
They had a half
I
pipe
didn't
for
know
some
they had a
weird
half
reason.
pipe.
Yeah,
I think they had a contest.
And I think they used to do a little pipe up there. Anyway, they used to do a park. I don't know why it was there, but Stan kind of had the in on it and got Bjorn and I an opportunity to come hit it. And I think we had beta on how fast the skiers were going off the lip, which was really comforting. And the in run was through a mogul field, and Bjorn and I were running a radar gun, and we could not get the speed through the mogul field. So we had to spend like half a day or something shaving all the moguls down by hand, you know, and get that in run where we could get enough speed. And yeah, I don't remember which one of us went first. I've been asked that before. I wonder if Bjorn remembers, but we had good beta with the radar gun.
Dude, thank God you had that information.
Yeah, because I mean,
that's like a crippling case.
I mean, it's one thing to come up short on like a powder gap, but that thing would not be good.
Just landing on a half pipe wall, just redirect. Yeah, that thing was gnar.
Yeah, Bjorn and Eric, they were staple with the radar gun. They used it for chads, and yeah, they're just like clocking you in. Okay, you're good. You got this.
It's a good tool to use.
Too bad they didn't have that when you were getting flushed. That would have been nice to know.
Yeah.
You lost
Yeah, on that snowbird half pipe gap though, that season I was like kept dislocating my shoulder. I heard it trying to do my best MFM impression at Blood Lake, jumping that big cliff there.
Yep.
I mean, it was already beat
MFM
up,
cliff.
and I kind of wheelie barred it and broke like part of where the shoulder sits into the shoulder blade. And so I was wearing this like style leash, I used to call it, because it'd keep my elbow down. It made my style a little better. And so that season, my arm was dislocating, and on that snowbird jump, it was like the end of the season, and I like landed something and drug my arm, just didn't fall, but just drug my arm and dislocated my arm, and patrol was there trying to put it back in, and every time it came out, no one could get it in. I'd always have to go to the ER. But that was
so painful.
Little memory from that season and that jump.
That ain't fun when it's out.
No, it's
Doesn't
like
feel good.
it's a violating feeling.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah.
Cool. And then then it was more, and then ready, and then so like what happened after those 2 Absinthe parts?
You know, I think at that point the Sapient money was gone, and they were paying Absinthe to film me, and then I lost like Decline, Vans. Vans was really cool about, you know, when they ended my sponsorship, they let me know like 6 months beforehand. A lot of the other companies, I was thinking they'd re-sign in a month or 2 after we're supposed to re-sign. They're like, yeah, we're not doing it. But anyway, I lost all the deals, and yeah, I was trying, you know, I told the Absinthe guys, like, let me figure this out. I'll be like 3rd string guy. Let me try to film another video part. And you know, it just all kind of faded out at that point, you know. And so then my passion for snowboarding was still just as strong as ever, but didn't really have an outlet. So I got super into splitboarding at that point, actually, and just trying to work on free riding and touring a bunch around here in the Wasatch with Forrest Shear and Tony Pablantos and some other guys, and starting to get into like Avi courses and stuff like that. And still snowboarding a bunch, but just kind of on my own terms, you know, doing some granola boarding out there.
Hell yeah. So then how did you evolve into the guiding situation? Tell us about that journey.
So I was spending a lot of time down in Silverton, Colorado, and riding the resort and doing backcountry with the guides there. You know, not a lot of people were into splitboarding, and so there I had a buddy who was splitboarding and a few guys who were ski touring. And then I was still doing annual trips to Alaska and getting to know the guys at SEBA, and they kind of jokingly were like, you should guide for us, you know? And I was like, oh, yeah, maybe I could start doing that next year, you know? And that next fall, I was climbing down in Red Rocks with a friend, and I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I'm just kind of splitboarding around and trying not to spend money, and it doesn't seem like a good way to keep living my life. And he was like, come work in Colorado at Silverton. So I hit them up for a job, and they were like, yeah, 3-year commitment, training's in 2 weeks, you got a job. And so I started there, and I also hit the SEBA guys up and was like, I'm going to come up in the spring and start working there. And yeah, and then that was cool because it kind of added new purpose to my riding. You know, it felt like I had purpose and not like I was just trying not to spend money and still addicted to snowboarding. You know, it gave the snowboarding purpose again.
Incredible. And thinking about a guy that loves riding heli boarding in Alaska, shit, you can get in a bird and you don't got to pay any money as a guide.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I remember at some point I'm like, okay, I'm not paying for this helicopter stuff anymore. Yeah, because that was one thing before that. I was like, yeah, putting myself in debt, paying for helicopter skiing, you know, and then coming back in the summer being like, okay, I got to pay off these credit cards, you know. So, yeah, that's a nice perk to the job for sure.
All right, guys, I love Bubs Naturals. Use their products daily. They've been a longtime supporter of the show and of snowboarding in general, and they just launched Creatine Monohydrate. Now, what's this good for, you ask? Well, it's great for more energy. It's great for muscle recovery. It's great for cognitive function, and it's great for lean muscle growth. All good things if you're trying to live a healthy lifestyle. However, a lot of the other creatine products on the market are very impure. In fact, 50% of the products on the market did not pass the standards set by the EFSA. So, if you get yourself some Bubs, you're getting that good. It's that pure. Bubs is sourced from the most trusted creatine manufacturer, made in Germany with strict standards. There's no hype, no fillers, just pure creatine monohydrate, the gold standard for strength, endurance, and recovery. And the founder is a snowboarder. So if you're a snowboarder, you want to support snowboarders, head on over to bubsnaturals.com. That's BUBS naturals.com. Use promo code BOMBHOLE and you'll get 20% off your order. All right, people, we're talking Yeti Rambler food jars, okay? They keep the hot stuff hot and the cold stuff cold. You're eating some oatmeal? You want to keep it warm all day? Get yourself a Yeti Rambler food jar. Oh, you want to do overnight oats and you want to keep them cold all day? Also, do a Yeti Rambler food jar. They come in size 8 ounce, 16 ounce, and new whopping 24 ounce food jars. They're great for all occasions. They got the double vacuum insulation that holds the temps in there. 100% leak proof mag vent allows you to throw it in your bag without worry. So go to Yeti.com, get yourself a Rambler food jar. You'll be happy you did it.
All right. While we're talking guiding, I also want to know what do you love about it? What are your favorite things about being a guide?
I think one of my favorite things about it is just shifting the focus from this like self-centered, get the clip mindset to help people achieve their goals. I think that's the most rewarding part of it for me, and getting that social interaction with people, the psychological aspect of it, learning to communicate better with people is huge. The first 6 years was a lot of learning to communicate better. Things go wrong in the group and you want to blame it on other people, but it's your group to manage. So you've got to look in the mirror and go, everything that's going wrong is my fault because I didn't communicate properly. So learning, I get to learn something basically every day. I always say if I didn't learn something, I just forgot to pay attention. You know, it's such a dynamic environment. And then people remind me too, you know, if you're riding that same run that you've ridden a bunch of, and it's just another run down that face or whatever, it's special, you know, and people remind me of that. They get to the bottom, that was the best run I've ever had, or that run was great. And it's like, thanks for reminding me that this is special, that we're out here. You know, you can get a little complacent with anything in life, that you get to do a lot, you get privileged and spoiled, and people remind me all the time of how lucky I am, you know. A lot of people are like, you've got the best job ever, and it's like, well, you could have this job too, you know. It's just, you got to make a lot of sacrifices. But there's so much to it that's rewarding. It's allowing me to not have a normal job, and getting to have a career in snowboarding really spoils you. It's a very privileged lifestyle, and it's hard to come down off of that. And I know at some point I'll have to do another transition in life, but right now it's given me a way to stay on the snowboard, stay passionate about snowboarding, and do it in a less selfish way where I get to learn a lot about myself and about other people.
Damn, eloquent answer. Okay, hard-hitting question. What do you like more? If you were to think about which one has been more fulfilling for you, career as a pro snowboarder, career as a guide?
I think the guiding career, honestly, it's lasted longer at this point. You know, I'm like right about 15-ish years in, and it's more rewarding, I think, because it is about other people, you know. But I also think that the snowboarding career taught me so much, taught me how to recover from injuries, how to pay attention to nutrition, and how to navigate hard times in life and the highs and lows, you know. So I really think that the snowboarding career led me into the guiding career. But the guiding thing has been super rewarding.
Now, talking about the current state of the world, I guess, and just human nature and whatnot, I feel like we're raised to gather material things, almost placing items over experiences, I guess you could say. And I feel as though with the rise of technology, obviously AI, social media, there's a lot of separation. People are isolating by themselves because their screens kind of keep them from chasing experiences. But I think there's like an awakening coming to that, where I almost see as the technology improves, the value of experience only gets amplified. Do you think there's going to be a rise with that in people putting value on experiences?
Yeah, I mean, with all this talk about AI and jobs disappearing and stuff, I feel like the guiding job is a secure one. And if the AI does develop in some of these crazy ways that they're talking about, where there's going to be a lot less jobs and maybe you've got more free time, people are going to be looking for these experiences, And I think COVID was an example of now people had free time, so they started getting outside. And I think we've seen since then the resorts are still more crowded, And so people are figuring out that this culture that I think we especially have in the U.S., but in other countries of like work 40 hours, 60 hours a week to get a vacation or two a year and squeeze a little bit of something into your weekend. I think people are trying to navigate life in a different way, and have more experiences. So I'm hopeful that, people are going to continue to get outside more, even though it's making places crowded, It just means that if you are super into snowboarding or whatever and going to the resort's not what it used to be, well, you've got experience. So you just need to push out a little further. You need to hike a little further. You need to bring people with you with less experience and show them that there are still these places you can go to where there's less people.
Cool. I think it's great. On our show, we talk to so many pro snowboarders and really talk a lot about that. But there's so many careers in snowboarding, working at mountains and in the industry. And we haven't really talked to too many guides. And it's really cool to think about it as a career path. Like, it seems like a really fun job.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Do you know how to tell if someone's a guide?
I don't know.
Oh, they'll let you know.
I'll tell you what's impressed me most about the guides is your guys' amount of adjectives you have for snowpack and the words you use to describe snow.
Acronyms.
Unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've spent some time in South America, so I even have like some pretty good South American words for snow. Cartón.
Yeah, like, can we just get into the weed? Can you just give us a hypothetical day? Let's just say, all right, it's unstable, wind loaded, snowpack on certain aspects are really unsafe. Could you maybe just throw as much jargon as possible to describe the snowpack on an unsafe day?
Okay, we had a little wind event last night, so the leeward slopes are a little bit loaded. So we're going to be looking for hard slab and avoiding those areas. We're going to be looking for low angle terrain with clean runouts, and avoiding any kind of hard slab out there.
Yeah, that was well done, well executed. So what goes into becoming a guide? How much training to at least start becoming a guide?
You got to get out there and do some courses. When I started, it was kind of like Avi 1, 2, 3. They restructured a little bit now. You got like a Rec 1 and a partner rescue course that pretty much anyone who's going in the backcountry should at least get that, like partner rescue, Rec 1, and even the Rec 2. And now they've got a Pro 1, Pro 2 course. You're going to want to get some medical training in there, like a woofer or something like that, some CPR. And that's kind of the baseline. In Canada and Europe, it's more formalized, and there's a full laid out program you run through. In the US, they kind of lean more, like you got to get those baseline credentials, and then the companies continue to train you. And I always say that, the courses are a must do, but it's easy to basically do those courses and get overconfident. It gives you confidence because you're given all these tools you're given the jargon, but you've got to couple that with field time. So again, you know, like with our snowboard careers, you get a lot of field time and you get a lot of feedback. And so that's what you need, is the feedback to go with the courses. You know, you need to see things happen in the mountains. You need to make mistakes and learn from those mistakes and go out on days and then come home and reflect and go, what went well today? What could we have done better? Where was our, you know, what was the most dangerous thing we did today? Could we have handled that differently? Those kind of things.
I got a question about guiding. How do you manage the stress of, you know, just the responsibility of the group and, you know, your day in the mountains? Like, it's really stressful when people are kind of leaning on you and looking to you as to guide them, basically. Like, how do you personally manage that stress?
Yeah, that was one of the biggest things I noticed as I switched from, like, you know, you're deciding, I'm going to drop in on this run, to, okay, I'm going to drop in on this run and bring 8 people with me. The decision feels way different. When I started, I did not feel ready, you know, and you're kind of not ready. And there's tools that companies use, limit you to certain terrain and confine you to areas where mistakes are lower consequence, you know. And so it's just like anything, you know, after you do it more and more, you get used to it and you learn to deal with the stress. I do now what I call a resiliency program, where in my off time, I try to do a lot of things that fulfill me and build me up and make me feel really good and get my mind clear. Because slowly over the winter, you do get beat down just having to be switched on so many days in a row, so many months in a row. And so I try to come into the season feeling like I've got this bucket full of resiliency to, like, help me cope and get through the season.
Heavy. Now, I want to talk about making decisions in the mountains, because we've all done AVI courses. And one thing I always found interesting is, you know, you have the data side, that is, you're digging your pits, your snowpack analysis, you're kind of using your logical part of your brain to make educated choices. And then there's the other side, which is also the intuition, which is the feeling. Something doesn't feel right about this particular zone, and trusting that. How do you incorporate those two kind of sides of your brain in your choices?
So yeah, with the intuition is a huge thing, and that's what you're developing with that field time. And I try to create a comfortable situation for whoever I'm with to share their intuition with me. So if anyone in the group is feeling weird about something, it's kind of like an immediate red flag, where especially like another coworker or someone who I've got a lot of time in the mountains with, if they're like not feeling good about something, we're pulling off. You know, that intuition's talking, you know, because I've had times where that intuition, sometimes it's so quiet. Like, is it fear or is it something else? You know, and so you want to create an environment where it's okay to share that intuitive feeling, and you want to try to pull that out of people, you know. And sometimes you can see people are uncomfortable, and you can either talk them through it and help them get more comfortable, or pull something out of them that you're missing. So the intuition thing is huge, you know. And then like the hard data, you know, you're digging pits a lot to have that data. If something happens, you can show you're doing your due diligence. And then I call snow pits not stability tests, but instability tests. And so often, like if I'm digging a snow pit for a specific run, I've probably already decided we're ready to shred this. You know, all the other like visual clues, the intuition, all that stuff's like feeling good. And I'm digging this pit to try to find unstable snow to shut it down. I'm generally not digging the pit to like build the confidence higher. I'm trying to use it as a way to shut it down.
How often are you surprised by what you find when you actually dig?
I I mean, I'm constantly digging in the snow. Maybe if you're like new to a zone, you might find something that's surprising you.
Yeah.
And that's when you might be digging more too. But I also just try to dig down constantly. Anytime I'm stopping, kind of an informal test where you're just kind of digging down, filling the layers, touching different areas of the snow, different elevations, different aspects. I wouldn't say I'm like real surprised a lot, you know. Maybe sometimes you're digging down and you're like kind of surprised that there are some weak layers, but it's not like doing anything, you know. I mean, generally speaking, snow is stable, generally speaking. And so that's like another tricky thing with this field time and trying to develop your intuition and your confidence is that we can go out for years and seasons and stack so many days and never see anything happen. And so you start to feel like, oh, I'm getting good at this. But if the snow is so complex, it's so unpredictable, you know, and it's easy to get overconfident.
Yeah. I mean, we've all seen it, especially after you take all the classes and after you gain knowledge. When you go ride a resort, we'll take our local, for example, Brighton. I'm looking around on higher Avi days and seeing people that certainly look underqualified to be in zones that they're in and no pack, no nothing, making poor choices. Any advice to people that maybe don't understand the dangers of the mountains?
Try to find some people that do, you know, and you need to get out and learn some basic protocols, you know. Why do you think we ride one at a time? And even when you're feeling quite confident in the snow, you still want to go one at a time and you want to stage people in, I don't really call them safe places, but stopping points that are more out of harm's way, you know? Because to me, once you're out there in the avalanche terrain, there's nowhere safe, you know? But trying to find mentors, people that have been out there and done it, maybe had bad experiences. Those are the best teachers, you know? Take some of these courses. I love getting to take courses with old crusty dudes with crazy stories and close calls and, you know, worked for the Avalanche Center or as a ski patroller or, you know, for the highway or something. You know, they have all got great stories, and that's who you want to learn from. You know, people that have had a long time in the snow and in the backcountry, they're going to have stories, you know, and an intuition developed, and they're going to call you out when you're kind of doing something dumb, you know?
Yeah. And I know you've got some stories. I know there's been some really heavy ones for you. You've been in the mountains and there's some people that haven't come home, you know? And I don't think we have to get into the details of that, but I do think that death is one of life's greatest teachers. And so for you being around some tragic accidents, like what has that taught you about life?
Just how precious every day is, you know, to have a lot of gratitude for every day and to try to honor those people that I've been around by continuing to enjoy the mountains and try to do it in the safest way I can. But yeah, I think the biggest thing is to just really honor every day, even a day that is a tough day. You know, maybe you're not doing what you want to do. Maybe you're sitting behind the desk working hard. There's still opportunity to find some fulfillment and enjoyment in that day, you know, because, I mean, driving cars is dangerous, you know. We all do dangerous things, even if you don't think you do. So life's precious, and we got to enjoy it. I think that's that's why we're here, is to have fun and enjoy life, you know, not be taking everything too seriously.
Yeah, 100%. I think like thinking about life too. What do we really want to do on this planet Earth? It's like we just want to live a joyful life. So that's it. That's really this should be the ultimate goal. And when you find so much joy in these mountains, jamming around, freaking riding POW, helping people find the joy of riding POW, spreading joy, it's a fucking great job.
Oh, it's the best.
You know, it's joyful. It's part of a joyful life. And I don't know. It's inspiring.
Yeah, I feel pretty lucky, pretty blessed for sure.
Hell yeah. So currently with your guiding situation, where are you working at?
Mostly up in Alaska in Girdwood. We run a full season up there, so we'll start in November, go into generally kind of late April.
What's November in Alaska like?
It's pretty all time.
Really?
Because the days are, your solstice is like December 21st, so your days are still a little bit longer, cold snow on all the aspects, blower everywhere. Shorter days, so kind of more alpenglow light generally. It's pretty awesome. And, there's storms that are so big, so you can haul ass like right away. It feels like you're riding March or February or March in the lower 48 up in Alaska in November. It's pretty all time. I really like November. December's great. The days start getting a little bit shorter. You get about 5 hours of daylight. So that's a little trickier, but it's still awesome, And years ago, we had a really late opening in Colorado. So we went up to Alaska early and let anyone know in Colorado that they could honor whatever trip they booked in Alaska if they can get up there. And I think that really opened our eyes to that it always can be really good up there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I know for years you worked down in the Southern Hemisphere. Was that Argentina? Is that where it was?
Yeah, I was in Argentina for like 10 years. Before that, I did 3 seasons in Australia. And then we've been in Chile now for about 8 seasons. We missed a couple seasons during COVID.
So year-round winter for the better half of 2 decades.
Yeah, I think I have like 23 seasons on the Southern Hemisphere.
Damn, dude. It's a lot of time on the board year-round winter.
Yeah, I'm hooked on snowboarding, apparently.
So that place is spicy, though. I feel like there's little rocks and stuff that poke out everywhere.
Yeah, the Andes I always say the wind lives in the Andes, and then it comes and visits other places because it can be really windy. But there's lots of good couloirs down there, and it's cool to go snowboard somewhere where the culture's different, but the camaraderie of snowboarding is the same. You can meet other snowboarders that barely speak English, and you can barely speak Spanish, but you speak that snowboarding language, and develop good friendships with people you can barely talk with. It's pretty incredible.
Oh yeah. What are the main differences you think from Southern Hemisphere to up here?
With the riding?
Yeah, just in general. Yeah, culture, riding, all of it.
I mean, I noticed a lot in Argentina. That country struggled a lot. Like the economy keeps kind of folding down there for decades, and the people don't have a lot, and they're willing to give you the shirt off their back, and they'll set up a huge asado for you and your buddies, and super generous people. The snow is like, because the Andes are pretty close to the ocean, it's like closer to a maritime snow, even all the way over in Argentina. It kind of depends on where you are. The more north you go in the Andes, it's a little more Colorado vibes. The more south you go, it's a little more Alaska vibes. So the mountain range is like 2,000 miles long. So it's like comparing like, pretty much like New Mexico to Alaska. There's a wide variety of how that mountain range is. But the people are great, and it's just awesome to get to ride your snowboard in the summer and get out of the heat. Usually I'll head down there when it's just starting to get about 100 degrees here and you're getting over the heat. I used to go down for like 3 months. Now I'm trying to keep the trips to like 5-6 weeks, just creating a little more diversity in life.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, as somebody that's done year-round winter for that long, I can't really imagine how much you love snowboarding. I mean, you must truly, truly love it. You've dedicated your life to it, clearly. I wonder, it's kind of a hard question to ask, but is there a way to articulate, do you think you could articulate what snowboarding means to you personally?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's taught me everything I know about life pretty much. So it's made me who I am today. It's brought me onto this cool show, Bombhole, which is a pretty huge compliment to get to be part of the snowboarding culture, be part of this show, have so many friends that I've made through this. And I think that movement and flow, whether it, however you find it, mountain biking, skateboarding, surfing, the movement we get on the snowboard, it allows me to turn off all the monkey brain chatter and feel joy and an empty mind. And I think that's the super addictive part about snowboarding for me is the state of mind it allows me to achieve.
Like a Zen-like presence.
Yeah.
Mindfulness. And yeah, that's cool. That's what you're chasing with meditation. That's what you're chasing with everything. And you can find it on your snowboard.
Yeah.
Beautiful thing. I love it. Well, we have another question about the mountains and things of that nature from none other than Randy Van Erden. Here we go.
Yo, Coulter, what up? It's Randy. I was just wondering what you think are the biggest threats to backcountry riding and what the average person could do to combat those threats, whether they're, going outside of the gates of their local resort or going splitboarding in the backcountry every day of the week, what they can do to kind of preserve that experience for everybody down the road. Stoked to hear your answer. Talk soon. See ya.
Randy, what's up, brother? Thanks for the question. So as far as like self-preservation and hazards, being with a tight crew, people you trust, and using good protocols, thinking about worst case outcomes, constantly on the up track, while you're riding the line. Do you have people set up who can see you, who are ready to back you up? Do they have training? Who are you with? Are you choosing an appropriate mission for the day for the crew you're with? And then luck favors the prepared. What preparation have you done? Have you done your Avi courses? Do you have a inReach, or do you know that there's cell phone coverage? Do you know the numbers to call for backup if something happens, call a helicopter in, that kind of thing? So thinking these like worst case scenarios through and having a plan to put in place if something does go wrong, I think is the best thing people can do to set themselves up for success. Review your day. Think about what's in your backpack. Do you have like a first aid kit? Do you have like a pocket mask to give someone CPR, and constantly reviewing like what's in your pack, a saw, like what, getting caught out overnight or something. If someone gets hurt and you're super deep out there, like what's your plan? Just kind of nerding out on all the logistics and things like that it's like the more you plan and prepare, the less likely you are to have a problem, I feel like.
Mm-hmm. I want to know what's in your pack, because I know these guys, you guys have some fucking crazy packs. But let's just say you're going splitboarding, with a few friends, and not your guide pack, but your just daily driver pack.
Yeah, I'm probably going to have at least one extra pair of gloves, probably some hand warmers in there, just thinking about something going wrong that you're not planning for, weather changing. Pretty basic first aid kit. Saw to cut wood in case you needed to make a fire or dig a snow pit. I like to try to have a saw that's like good for digging snow pits, but can also cut wood. Sometimes if you're going way far out there, I'll probably have like some sort of emergency bivy sack, just a real lightweight one, headlamp, extra layers, lots of water, and snacks.
Fire starting things.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely like a lighter or something like that. Cool. Yeah. And constantly refining it. I mean, it makes me think about like dirt biking and like your toolkit, and every time I like go in and lighten up my toolkit, soon enough, the next ride or two after that tool that I took out, you need it. So just reviewing your day, it's splitboarding extra binding parts. Mm-hmm. And a binding repair kit is actually a huge thing for sure. Yeah, because when you get way far out there and you don't have the splitboard anymore and you're boot packing, that could be rough.
I like going with the guy when I ride moto that I know that like my friends, a lot of them bring everything.
Right.
So I can have the light pack.
Yeah.
I'm like, they got an extra, I know he's got an extra lever. I know he's got all the tools. I mean, one guy in our crew's got it.
Yeah.
You know, I like to be the unprepared guy.
Yeah.
Keep it light.
Yeah. Keep it interesting.
Make it spicy. Yeah, that's good stuff. All right, we're going to keep things moving. We're going to get into hot takes, and I've got the drop. Here we go.
Hot takes. Hot takes.
You're fired.
Before we get into hot takes, I'm going to derail. I'm going to fuck up our whole run of show right now,
let's do
Silk.
it.
You
Go
ready
for
for
it,
this?
please.
And we'll
Yep.
keep it in.
Yep.
Benny Pellegrino has a Patreon question. Do you want to ask him the one about Alaska?
Yeah, let's do it. Thanks for asking 4 questions this time, Benny. Always asking incredible questions. You've been on some crazy lines in Alaska. Who, in your opinion, is the most underrated AK shredder? We're looking for 1 male and 1 female.
Oh, most underrated AK shredder. I mean, the people that know Mark Schultz. I talked about him earlier. He's just a local up there, but he rips. Local in Southeast Alaska. Female underrated shredder. I mean, I was always impressed with Annie Boulanger. Her ability to adapt to those big mountains, I think coming from Whistler was, it's like I think a Whistler is like a perfect stepping stone to Alaska. So she adapted quite well up there. Just thinking of some of her old video footage in Absinthe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, jumping into hot takes. Who is your GOAT, your greatest of all time to you personally, both male and female?
Can I break it up into when I was coming up and right now?
You gotta ask Silk.
You can. We might ask you for overarching.
Yeah, I
singulars
mean,
at the
it'll-
end, but
yeah.
we can brainstorm out loud. It's fine.
So when I was coming up, Kevin Jones was the GOAT and Terry Takitas. And currently, for me, the all-time GOAT, Travis Rice and Zoe Sadowski-Sanat. I probably
Correct.
butchered her
Yep.
name,
No,
but
that was it.
Solid answer.
yeah.
All right, moving right along. Most underrated. Who's one of the most underrated snowboarders in your opinion?
Canadian shredder who I used to spend a lot of time in South America with, Andrew Burns.
Hell yeah. All right, hopefully you get this one right. Steel or powder?
Well, the steel knocks me out, so I have to go with the powder.
Damn it.
He's turned his back on the steel. He said,
Yeah, he's
you can say that into the mic. I
Honestly,
turned my back on the
You
steel.
know what, though? He
Yeah,
kind
go
of
ahead,
earned
say
his
it.
right
Yeah,
to turn
he-
the back on the steel.
definitely,
He's
definitely.
pummeled himself. in the gym.
Absolutely.
All right, what's the heaviest trick you've ever witnessed in person?
Man, I think Gigi's switchback 3 on rocker. But a heavy session I witnessed was Pat Moore at Super Park all day, every feature, hammering.
I remember that year.
I was like, who hit the
Backside of Mammoth one?
Yeah.
Oh, God, he was on one that
I
year.
was like, how is he doing all this?
Yeah. God, he was possessed.
Endless
by
energy.
Satan. I don't know if we talk about this. Gigi switchback through his first try, allegedly, right? Is there a rumor, or did he take a couple?
No, I think it was first try.
Jeez.
And just to land go
Straight off the plane,
switch to
too, right?
switch, yeah.
Yeah.
Chris, can I hit the jump? Switchback 3, maybe?
Dude, that is the last fucking trick of all the tricks.
No, thank you.
Maybe switch method would be,
Yeah, it's right up there.
but there's not. Yeah. Goddamn. Okay. Favorite up and coming rider? Who you got?
I'm trying to remember his name right now. Is it like I just lost it. He's is Bodie? No, not Bodie. No, I'm
I don't know if
losing
Bodie
it.
Merrill is up and coming.
No,
That's
not
what you're
Bodie.
talking about.
It's there's a
Bimo?
kid and he
Oh,
may not
Bimo.
be
BMO?
Blake Muller.
Yeah, Blake Moeller.
Yeah.
I mean, he may not be really up and coming, but he was new to me.
Yeah.
And that dude is on
his way
one.
up
Given
still.
your lens,
He's still
I'd say
going
he's up and coming. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going up still.
I never had really heard of him, and I was watching Natural Selection, and I'm like, this guy's on fire.
Yeah.
Good pick. Who has your favorite method?
Nicholas.
Who has your favorite turn?
Craig Kelly.
What's your favorite snowboard video ever made?
Subject Hawkinson.
What's your favorite place to ride a snowboard?
Alaska.
What's your favorite board graphic ever?
So the first board I bought was this Joyride Chuck Eye, I think it was called. And it had this kid in a straight jacket on the base and like a padded room. And he was like tripping and all these little animals and like a deer and some mushrooms. That one stands out to me.
Oh yeah. Who's the most talented snowboarder you've ever seen in person?
Nicholas Mueller.
What's the worst trick / least favorite trick?
Frontside spins off the toes. I don't think they look good for like video parts, but I think for a contest rider, you need to know how to do it because, and even in the backcountry, sometimes certain jumps you have to do that. But if you got a choice, take off the heels.
If you were to buy a snowboard that isn't your current board sponsor, what would you buy?
Capita Black. What is it? The
Black Snowboard of Death.
Black Snowboard of Death.
Good pick. Dream sponsor, anything in the world doesn't have to be snowboard related.
Maverick.
Oh, fuck. Adventure's First Stop. That's a good one.
Dude, good snacks.
Maybe my favorite
Damn it.
answer.
Non-ethanol fuel.
Yeah, 88
Diesel.
ethanol free.
Wow.
Whatever you need.
That's a good
And
one.
their food's not bad.
Not bad.
There was no delay.
Yeah, breakfast
was-
burritos,
That was sick.
pizza,
They
donuts.
got green chili burritos. You know?
Yeah, the burritos aren't bad.
No, not at all. Yeah,
That's actually my favorite answer.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, that's good
I
stuff.
hit their breakfast sausage breakfast sandwich and it plugged me up for a good week.
Well, you know, it's also, I think I align with them as a brand. They got like dirt bikers on the gas pumps and stuff.
Yeah, they got the little videos on the screen.
Yeah, people are riding dirt bikes and
You're very
snowboarding.
aligned,
They got the
yeah.
snowboarder actually in the ceiling
got
that's
the
hanging
dude,
from the
yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
they
they
got
got the
borders
dude.
in the ceiling.
Yeah. You guys are aligned.
We got to get some of these kids that are on fire right now to line up a Maverick sponsorship
Yeah,
for themselves.
Let's come into snowboarding.
And they're everywhere.
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
Dude, you know what? I know a place they can spend some advertising dollars, and that's right here at the Bomb Hole. Yeah,
Lake Moeller. Let's get him on Maverick.
that'd be a
That would
good
be so sick.
that sticker would look
Yeah.
good on the board.
Oh, yeah,
Big old Maverick on the nose.
Don't they have a mascot too, like a Yeti or something like that? Maybe
Maverick Center, they have one for the Grizzlies. But
Yeah,
maybe
okay.
they probably do have it. They probably have a mascot.
Could be.
All right, if you go heli boarding, 3 people, just good times. Who you taking?
I'm going to take Wastel. Maybe I can show him I'm starting to figure it out. Stan Evans, because he's always there for me. Coming up and teaching me the ropes on the snowmobile. And Shane Charlebois, because I don't think I'd be sitting right here without the captain of my life.
Great looking bird right there. All right, worst trend. What do you got?
Worst trends? Distracted drivers. People coming up to Alaska with, what do they call them? The volume adjusted snowboards. Go ahead and get yourself a big board. Don't get the 57 Orca, get the 62. You're not Travis Rice on 60-degree spines, needing that short board to make a lot of turns. Yeah, I think maybe buying airbags without taking Avi courses, another bad trend. Thought I'd throw a few at you.
Those are solid.
Yeah. You got any more? You seem pretty prepared for hot takes.
I thought I had another bad trend.
Persistent weak layers are a bad trend.
Yeah, I don't like those persistent weak layers.
So you're telling me if I buy an airbag and I have no training and I go into the mountains, I'm not going to be fine.
Yeah, and all you're worried
that's what
about
I-
is yourself and not your buddies. You know, you got to worry about your buddies
You got
too.
a 152 Orca airbag
You're telling me.
going to Alaska.
You're telling
Take
me
me
if
to
I
the
don't buy
top.
the bag, I'm not completely like I thought you were good to go.
nothing
Any
to worry
avalanche, you
about.
pull that thing, you're gonna float.
Yeah, I think another thing that's a bad trend is how divided we're all getting culturally.
Yeah,
you know,
that's solid.
there's social media and politics and stuff. We all just need to give each other some grace and share different perspectives and not take things too personal.
Well said. Who'd you vote for? I'm just kidding. I just wanted to be. I couldn't help being a dick. I know that is actually the most valid. That's the worst thing in society happening.
Yeah.
I have to agree with you 100%. All right, let's talk setups. What board do you ride?
65 Jones Mountain Twin wide, which is probably for like a 200-pound guy, but when you're in like that deep snow, the float is nice, you know. for sure. And my pack's a little bit heavier, but for a long time I was on the 62, but the 65 I think is where it's at. You know, if I that's like in the heli. If I'm around the resort, I'm probably on the 62.
What bindings?
Union Falcor.
Nice. How do you set it up?
Pretty centered, just a touch back because I ride a little more angle on the front foot and I don't want to have less nose than tail. Probably about a 17 on the front foot and like a 13 or something like that on the back foot.
Posy?
No.
Oh,
Ducky.
negative 13.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, keeping it OG.
Yeah.
Love that.
Trying to ride a little switch still.
You know, you never know we're gonna have to bust a cab 2 on a down rail in Alaska. You know what I mean? You got to be ready for anything.
It's funny because I actually played with a little posy this year. I was watching some Craig Kelly videos and like his turn is so sick and you're not going to turn like that without the posy. But it kind of bugs my knee actually. I had to go back to the duck. It is nice for turning, but I don't know, the duck just feels right for me.
What do you love about the Jones board you're riding?
It's pretty durable. I've smashed some rocks on it, and for a while there, you know, I know some of the Nidecker brands had a little durability issues, but I think that's all sorted out. So it's tough, and it's good everywhere. It's camber underfoot, so it's good on firm snow. Gives good float. It's just a good all-around board. You know, I've got other shapes that I'll ride sometimes, but I keep going back to the twin. It just feels right.
What about your splitty setup for the granola eaters out there that want to know?
Splitty, pretty, you know, now that I'm on Jones, I can often find like pretty much the same board on the split. So same thing, just split.
Hell yeah. I love that. Well, we've gone pretty deep on this show, but we do have one last guest question from none other than Willie McMillan. Here we go.
Willie.
What's up, Bombhole? What's up, Coulter? I miss you, buddy. Feel like it's been a decade or so since we've hung. Anyway, I want to know like a full blast like career highlight of pro snowboarding, and then I want to know a career highlight full blast of professional guiding. That's what I'm interested in. What are your highlights? What do you look back on? You know, like what do you know? What warms your heart when you think about moments in your you know careers? Anyway, love you guys. Hope everyone is doing well. I'll check you later.
Love you, Willie. Thanks for the questions. I think, you know, we kind of brushed on it earlier with Seth, just like feeling like you got the key and you're in and you're filming with one of the 4 major production companies out there. That was a highlight for sure. And it just felt like being accepted into the pro snowboarding community was a huge highlight. Just attending the Banker Bank Slalom really made me feel super connected to the snowboarding community. Trick highlights, you know, a couple of the big gap jumps, you know, getting to do the half pipe gap with Bjorn and rockers. Those were moments that felt like I was honing the craft and using it in the way I wanted to, for sure. I got to ride a big line up in Alaska that felt like it took me like 5 or 6 seasons to get to that moment, and I got to do a first descent up there. We called it Rizzo, and it was a super heavy run where you could not get sloughed or you wouldn't make it. So not the kind of run you want to get on often, but and then some guiding highlights, I think, is just that I'm still doing it, you know, and then I'm on the bomb hole. I mean, I think that's like the biggest highlight of all for me. If anything, snowboarding, this is a big deal for me to be here. So huge compliment from you, Chris, to be invited on the show and get a reconnect with old buddy Seth. Like, just honored to be here.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
Thanks, Coulter.
Oh, yeah.
It's been really fun chatting about your whole career and the arc of it and the ups and the downs and the big tricks and the guiding. And really inspirational. I really enjoyed it. What's next for Coulter?
addicted to motorcycles right now. I feel like in the off season, I just get, I find different sports. In the last 7 or 8 years, it's been the motorcycle. So heading up to do a race in a couple weeks up in Idaho, and then a little more time around here, and then I'll be back down to Chile for some more sledding and shredding, and just gonna keep snowboarding as long as I can, pretty much.
Well, it's been a pleasure chatting. You don't throw any thank yous before we throw a bow on this show.
I mean, thanks to my mom and dad for getting me on a snowboard to begin with, and always being so supportive with alternative lifestyle and not questioning anything, just throwing support. And thanks to all the team managers that I ever got to work with, and every filmer, photographer, and snowboarder that I got to be in the mountains with. There's too many people to go through the list. I'm certainly going to miss people, but just so much gratitude for the whole snowboarding community in general. I've felt so much support and love over the years, and you've all helped me become who I am today. So I have a huge heart full of gratitude for everyone.
God damn, Coulter. Spitting wise bars all day long on here. I loved it. So, did you have a fun show?
Yeah, incredible show. Super good.
Jenny?
Absolute best time.
Yeah, that was a great show.
Great reminiscing.
I think my highlight was getting flushed, and you're just like kind of enamored by the speed. That was the highlight for me.
That was a pretty good moment.
Wow, I'm going fast on this. All right, Silky D, who's going to take us out of the show? You make the call.
I think we should have Coulter's do it.
All right, Coulter. At the end of the show, we usually have somebody pretend like we're just signing off, and then we play the music. So why don't you hit us with a good sign off and take us out of the show?
All right. Thanks for listening. And don't forget to come back for the next episode of The Bomb Hole, where you can connect yourself to snowboard culture in the community.